Hello.
Hi, can you hear
Hi.
me?
I can hear
Great,
you perfectly well.
good. So we can hear you and see you. So, on behalf of Macmillan Education, it's my great privilege and honor to introduce Lorena to you. Um, Lorena studied pedagogy in Mexico City, became an English teacher a few years ago, specializing in early childhood stimulation, learning disabilities, psychomotor skills, and logical mathematical thinking, and as well as teaching, has trained many teachers, coaches, teachers, and has also written in collaboration with Macmillan as well. And so I'm very lucky in my job. I get to meet lots of nice teachers and lots of nice authors, and it's been a great pleasure for me to meet and get to know Lorena this year. And I'm sure you're all desperate to hear her tips on how to improve your pre-primary classroom management. So, Lorena, over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. Well, hello, everybody. It's really an honor to be here with you today. And so, hello from everybody around the world. Well, I hope that by the end of this seminar, you get some really useful tips that you can start applying directly into your classroom. So, well, let's get started. So I chose this quote: the greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, the children are working as if I did not exist. So little by little, during this time that we're going to be sharing together, I'm going to be giving you some tips so you can really get to do this. That you feel comfortable in your classroom, that you feel happy and that you have fun in your classroom, and that you can also have everything under control. Okay? So the first thing I want to ask you is, what do you know about classroom management? And what do you want to know? There are going to be some questions that I am going to be able to answer at the end of the seminar. So feel free to ask. And I hope to be answering some of your questions during this time. But if you still have some questions, please feel free to write them down so I can ask them. I can answer them at the end of the seminar. Okay, so I chose seven specific things I wanted to share with you today. So you can get special tips from each of these points that you can start applying. So the first thing is, oh yeah, thank you for answering. Okay, managing with kids. Okay, okay. I hope that you can be able to answer them. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is to get to know your children. You know, for some of your children at the beginning of the school year is going to be their first time going to school. So the first thing that you have to do is to find out who they are, to find out their age, to find out what they like, what they don't, how they learn, and some special considerations. Because the first thing that you have to do is to gain their confidence. If you don't have the confidence of your little kid, then it's going to be very difficult to teach them. So one of the things that you can do to gain their confidence is using a puppet. So I have here a little friend I want to introduce to you. So if you say, hello, Bob, and here I have, hello, everybody. This is my little friend, Bob, and Bob is is very glad to be here, right, Bob? Oh, yes. Okay, using this kind of puppet is very useful because imagine that you're a little kid that you were with your mom, and all of a sudden you're dropping to school with a very nice teacher that speaks a different language, and it's super scary. Imagine you're a little kid with in this school, a lot of kids with a little new people. It's super to make them feel that they're going to be safe, and these kind of things, having them in the classroom, are very useful. So use a puppet. They, they are um, they are very cute, and I'm gonna tell you an experience that I had a long time ago. I used to have a little girl when I was teaching nursery, 3-year-old kids, and when I received her, I was very nice. I was speaking very sweetly and everything, but she was never talking to me. Uh, she would never answer. She would never say hello back to me. Nothing. So one day I brought a puppet, and I started greeting her with a puppet like this one. So when I started using the puppet, she was really learning English, but she was never talking to me. She was talking to the puppet. So she felt confident with the puppet. And little by little, I started gaining her confidence using the puppet. So there was one moment that she accepted me as her teacher. Okay, so it's super important to gain their confidence from the very beginning. And it's not the same to teach little kids from 3 years old than to teach old kids, like the ones that are going to elementary school that are in the last year of preschool, because they already know what it is to go to school. So get to know your students. I tell you again, know what their age, what they like and they dislike, what kind of cartoons they like go in their world, um, do some research about what are the things that they're into, what type of toys they use. So you can use all that information even to decorate their classroom or to receive them in your classroom. How they learn. Sometimes we have to plan our activities and we have to know how they learn just because we need to see if the activities that we're planning are suitable for our kids. So we also have to find out our kids how they learn. And special considerations, if for example they have any allergies. Because for example, if we are planning to do some activities including flower, but some students are allergic to it, then we have to think about other things to do with our students. So getting to know our children is also telling them in a way, I care about you and I love you. And if children feel love, then they are going to learn. Okay. So first thing, gain their confidence. The second thing is organize your classroom. This is super important for classroom management because it's going to give you like the tool to make everything work smoothly. Okay, so here are some tips. Um, the clue here is let them be independent. Sometimes as preschool teachers, we think that since they are little kids, we have to do everything for them. But you know something? We have to let them do things. We have to let them think that they're already grown up and that they can do also things in the classroom, and that is going to help you too to save some time. Okay, so let them be independent. And how can we organize our classroom? First, we have to create specific places. So think about your classroom and think if it's possible to have a place where you can work in a circle. It's very useful, for example, when you get to receive your students and you sit in a circle with them and you start your class or daily routine in a circle because you have them near you and you can contain them. And there, when you start doing your daily routine, you can use your puppet to greet everybody. You can sing some songs. You can go through weather and everything, but in the circle. You can now also teach some vocabulary words in the circle. So if possible, plan a special place to work in a circle. Also, plan special place where children can work in teams, where you're going to ask them to do certain activities that everybody can do, or you can work in stations. I'm going to talk about that a little bit afterwards. Also a place to display children's work. Children love to have their work displayed on the walls, and they feel really very proud of what they're doing. So think about that. A place to display flashcards. It is very useful if you put the vocabulary flashcards that you're using, because they can be looking at them all the time, and they can remember them. To keep material within or without the reach of children. There are going to be certain materials that you would like children to have near them. I'm going to explain you that in a moment. And certain materials that you will not want them to be near them, such as scissors, for example. No? So plan a special place where you can put those things. And a special place to display specific charts or posters for your class. For example, if you use posters for a calendar, for weather, days of the week. Okay, so plan your spaces in your classroom. And in the places where you're planning to keep your material, it's very useful to label the shelf or the tray with words or pictures, so your students know where things go, so they can help you collect and then put everything back in the correct place, so they can help you keep your classroom in order and organized. And also, you can label some trays with by teams. So the other thing is organize children by teams. You can name your teams by colors, by numbers, by shape, and you can put small shoe boxes that you can decorate. I have a picture, an idea here. For example, this can be a shoebox, okay, and you can decorate it with any paper you like, or even you can ask your parents to bring a shoebox decorated however their kids want. And you can then use those boxes for many things in your classroom. They will help you organize your classroom a lot. So, well, I have an idea here. For example, you plan to organize your children by teams. So you're going to have a box and you're going to name that team purple. Or you can organize them by numbers and you put the numbers. So you're going to be team purple or team number 1. And for example, for grown-ups, you can also do this. You can name students with shapes, team triangle. And if they are about to go to elementary school, you may want to also write the names here, okay? So you can say triangle, so they can start making the association between the word and the picture, okay? So in these kind of boxes, shoe boxes, you can put all the materials that children are going to be needing, and that is going to be very useful, because if you organize children by teams, you can also get to have your captain. So each team is going to have a captain, and the captain is going to be the only one who's going to be standing up to get the box with all the materials that children are going to be needing for that day, for that activity, and they're going to put the box in the middle of the table, and then they are going to take out all the material, and that's going to help you save time. Sometimes we lose control. I'm going to be talking about that in a moment. Sometimes we lose control of our class because we are the ones who want to give out everything. So we are giving out the crayons, we are giving out the stencils, and if we go by one, then we lose time, and children then they get the material and then they start playing with it, or they don't know what to do. So it's better if you have less children standing up, getting the materials, putting it in the middle of the table, and taking it out so everybody can start working. Okay? So, for example, in the tray, I plan an activity. I'm going to be using scissors, I'm going to be using papers, I'm going to be using glue to put everything there. I'm going to give an example of that in a moment. Okay, so organizing by teams. And if possible, in your list of materials, ask your parents to bring you a shoebox or two, decorated, or maybe you want to decorate them, so that you can receive them at the beginning of the class. Okay, so it's super important. If you organize your classroom, it will help you a lot with classroom management. Another thing is to plan ahead. It's super. Oh, I'm sorry. I somehow. Do you see me again? It's super important to plan ahead, because that way. Thank you so much. To plan ahead what we're going to be doing. And this is another clue for a good classroom management. So the clue here is, okay, I'm going to be planning my activities, but keep your objective in mind, because sometimes we plan very nice activities, but we do not have a clear objective. So at the end of the class, children got to do a lot of activities, but the objective was not clear. So you cannot really tell what they learn. So keep your objective in mind, okay? I'm going to give an example in a minute. And tip, okay, I'm planning an activity. So after writing, so I want my children to review the word flower. And so I want my kids to paint a flower. Okay, so I'm going to imagine all my class. How am I going to do it? Okay, what do I need? So I can detect problems and solve them before going to the classroom. If we plan and we imagine, then we can solve them better, and we can be ready when we are in the class. What happens when we plan but we didn't imagine any problem that can happen? That, for example, I plan a very nice activity using watercolors, but I forget the water. So then I told my students, oh my God, I forgot. Sometimes, because that happened to me a long time ago, we say, okay, hold on, stay there, sit down, don't get out, and please behave. Or maybe you're saying, oh, fulanito, please check on them while I rush out of the classroom. I go to the bathroom and get some water because I need it for the activity. So that is very risky, because first of all, you cannot leave your children alone, because there can be a lot of accidents. And second of all, when you come back, everything can be a mess, and it will take you a lot to put them in order again. And it will take you so much time that when you start your activity, maybe the time for your class is going to be over. So if you imagine all of the things that you need beforehand, then you're going to have everything solved. So when planning your activities, first of all, you have to think, who are you going to be doing that activity for? My kids are 3 years old, my kids are 5 years old, no? What am I going to be doing? I'm going to give you an example. I have it here. Okay, so I want to review the word flower with my little kids. Okay, so I want them to paint a flower. So who am I going to be giving this to? To kids that are 3 years old or to kids that are 5 years old? Okay, so I make the activity before so I can count the time and I more or less can see if if how much time they will take and if the activity is suitable for them. And also because if I show them what I expect them to do, then it will be easier for them to know what I want them from them. Can you hear me somehow? Okay. So maybe they are not going to understand everything I say in English, but if I show them what they are going to be doing, just by looking at what they are going to be doing, then they can really know what is the objective and what you want them to do. So show them a model, if possible, of the finished project so they know what they're going to be doing, okay? And so in my box, I say, okay, I want them to do this flower, so I will need my stencil, okay? Maybe for little kids, I'm going to give you them a stencil, and maybe the grown-ups can draw their own flower, okay? But so I put my stencil, then I'm going to put my watercolors, but oh, my little kids, my 3-year-old kids have a problem because they have not developed the pencil grip, okay? So it's going to be very difficult for them to do this because they're going to do this, okay? So maybe it's going to be hard for them to use a paintbrush. So with my 3-year-old, I'm going to ask them to do it with their finger, okay? They're going to be painting with their finger. So maybe my 5-year-old will be able to use the paintbrush, okay? So then I have to think, who am I going to be given this, okay? So then I put everything that I will need in my box, okay? And then I say, oh, am I also going to need a small container to put water because they're going to be using watercolors. So you can also ask parents to donate these types of lids, okay? They all have them at home. Or bottle caps, you can also have bottle caps, okay? And that's it. Oh no, I'm missing water, but I cannot put water in the box. And I don't want them to have the water because I don't want them to spill it. I don't want any accidents. So I think, how am I going to do this? Oh, I have to bring the water and have to do water. But I don't want to lose a lot of time going, how am I going to do it? Okay, then, if you detect a problem, how am I going to pull water? Then, for example, I suggest you use a bottle like this because it's very easy. You just pull the lid, okay, in the small container, and then your kids can start working. No, so the idea here is what is your objective? My objective is for them to review flower. How am I going to do it? Well, I want them to paint a water something with watercolors, or you can paint something with colors, or you're going to give them clay because you're going to be modeling a flower. You just have to plan your activity, okay? And detect problems. Then how am I going to collect water? Then you can bring a small bucket and to the classroom, and you can go around pouring the water they use. Obviously, they're not going to put water up to here, okay, just to prevent any spill. So think of all the problems you can have with the activities that you're planning. Think if the activity is suitable for your children, and think how are you going to do it. where you're going to do it, if you're going to do it in your classroom or you want to do it outside, when, the time, if you're going to do it before recess or after recess. Maybe you think, oh, maybe after recess because they come very hyper. So if I play some music and I get them to color, then they're going to feel relaxed, no? With what? With what materials? And why? What's my objective? And always when you're planning, always have plan B, extra activities for fast finishers. I'm going to point that out in a few moments, but it's super important to have plan B because if you don't have plan B, then you can also lose control of your class because you will not have anything any other activity for the ones who have already finished. So if they have nothing to do, they will find out what to do, and you will not like to you will not like that. Okay, so by now the important things are get to know your students, gain their confidence, um, plan ahead, and obviously, when planning, you have to think of your routines and your rules. And they are super, super important to have a good classroom management. So, what is the clue here? Routines help children feel safe because they know what's next. So, if you set your routines, this is the way we always collect material. This is the way we always line up. This is the way we always do, I don't know, the daily routine. This is the way we always have lunch. So set your routines from the very beginning. It's, it's going to take you time from the beginning, but believe me, if you do this, after the first month, then your class is going to work super because your children will know already what to expect in your class. Uh, an example of a routine, a long time ago, I was a coordinator in a school and I got to substitute teachers a lot. So it was really very funny and very good too. To go in the classroom and I used to bring the lesson plan of the teacher with me. But there was always a kid who would come and tell me, you know something? The teacher does this, and that for the daily routine, and she keeps things there, and she does this like this. So because they already knew the routine, so it was really very useful to go in the classroom because there was always going to be someone who would explain me how the teacher did things, so I could follow up. So if you set your routines, children will know what to do. And the tip here is set routines and rules from the very beginning. Having control of the class means children are learning. If you don't have control of your class, then you're not really sure if you're learning or not. So at the beginning of the class, set routines. Set routines for daily routine, set routines, as I told you, I mean, to put their lunch boxes and their school bags where you want. Who are going to do that? Everybody or who? So think of also of routines that can help you save time. Okay? So how are you going to do that? Maybe everybody's going to get in your classroom, they're all going to see, and you're going to be asking team by team to stand up and put everything in the correct place. Think of ideas where you can save time and it doesn't look so disorganized. Think of routines for in the middle of the class. So in the middle of the class can be, for example, routines to as I was telling you, to collect material or even to clean up. Maybe in the middle of the classroom, you're going to set the time. Time is over, and you put it in your cell phone, your time, and then you start singing with your little friend, and then he starts, no, like clean up, everybody and everywhere. Okay, you start singing with your puppet, and kids are already going to know that it's time to put everything away. So set your routine. You can also do this by playing certain music, or or by singing a bell. You're going to decide how you're going to do this, but set your routine. And at the end of the class, how are you going to do it at the end of the class? Maybe you're going to use a wipey to clean their faces. You're going to ask them to sit down properly so they can go and get their lunch boxes to line up. How are you going to do it at the end of the class? So when planning, be sure to, as well as your activities, but also your routine, so you don't forget them. Okay? And well, obviously rules what you expect from them. No. Sometimes we like to put charts that say these are the rules of the classroom, but little kids don't understand words, and they can understand pictures. But maybe you can also use a puppet to explain rules. Maybe the puppet can misbehave, and you can tell the puppet, "Oh no, Bob, don't do that. We don't push. No." Okay, so you can also use your puppet to explain rules to children, and they will understand with the puppet. Maybe later you can show a picture with a rule, and you will tell, "Oh, Bob, we don't push. Look, we don't push, right, kids? We don't push." And you can then put your pictures of the rules somewhere in the classroom where they can see them. Okay, but it is important to model them so they can really understand what you expect from them, okay, in the classroom as behavior. Okay, and well, now we gain confidence, we're planning ahead, we're setting routines in our lesson plan, and well, we also have to be aware of the time. And I think that this is like the most important part of the webinar, time. If we have control of the time, then that means that our class is going to be successful. So the clue here is short and snappy activities. And the tip is use a chronometer or bell to set a specific time for each activity. So short and snappy activities. Children, they get tired if they are doing one thing for a long time, sometimes when they are in the classroom. So you have to make them short because their span of attention is not that long. So for example, the span of attention, it is said that it is more or less 1 minute per year of age. So if you have 3 years old, then maybe the span of attention that they will have is like around 5 minutes. So it is super important that your activities are short and snappy. So with that small activity, children get to reach the objective that you have. Okay, so again, keep your objective in mind. What is my objective, and how am I going to do it to get my students get to the objective, but with a very short and easy activity. Keep in mind the time of the day too. It is super important because sometimes kids are super tired, and you need to think if that activity is going to be suitable if they are super tired, or sometimes the kids are very hyper, so you have to think if it's okay to give the kids that certain activity, or maybe you have to change the activity. So keep in mind the time of the day. As I told you, prepare your material beforehand so you don't lose time giving out material. Another thing where we lose time that I didn't tell you before is when we want to give out books. So I have another idea for you here. You can also have your books, your children's books, in your boxes. in your boxes, okay, for each team. And because sometimes we are like, we open the book in the page where we want our kids to work with, and then we're calling the name of each kid, and maybe we're giving them out, or maybe we're carrying the books and we're walking around and we're giving out books. The problem is that little kids say, hey, what's behind is nicer, and they start looking at the other pages. So we lose time giving out books, and we also lose time going back again to see if everybody's in the correct page before we start the activity. So you can use one of these clips to put in the book, and it is not easy for them to turn the page over. And you can put here in the clip a little sticker they choose so they recognize which is their book, or you can also put the name here, okay? So prepare your materials beforehand so you don't lose time. You don't lose time giving out materials. And plan activities children can do independently or in small groups, or set up stations for different activities. For example, I want students to learn numbers. So children can do independently in different group activities, like you give them cards with numbers, and then they have them together, all the twos together, all the threes together. Or in another group, you're going to give them clay, and you're going to give them a card, and they have to form the number on top of the card with clay. Those activities, they can do them by themselves. You don't have to be like there checking on them. But maybe there's going to be one activity where you have to sit just to check that they are really getting to the objective. Maybe you're going to sit with there checking that they are putting the numbers from 1 to 4 in the correct order. So you're going to be there, and you're going to pay a little bit more of attention to that group that is doing that activity, because your objective for that day was to review numbers and to put them in order from 1 to 4, from 1 to 5. So the other kids are busy. They are getting to the objective by themselves because they're going to be sorting numbers or modeling the numbers. Obviously, you're going to keep an eye on them, but you can plan this kind of activities that they can do independently, and in stations, no? Where after some time you ring the bell after 5 minutes of sorting numbers or 10 minutes, you ring the bell and they change, and then they do the next activity. And super important, let children help you, because if you let them help you, first of all, they will feel very motivated because they always want to be the helper or to play to be the teacher. And that will also help you save time. For example, if you want to do an art activity and you want to put them some art aprons, you always lose a lot of time putting them on. But if you put the art aprons in a box and you ask them to take them out, one can button, for example, the apron of the one that is in front, and the one that is behind can button the apron of the one that is in the middle. So there you're saving time, and you're helping them to learn how to make a knot, or to work with their fine motor skills, and that saves time. Obviously, you can help the ones that will need help, but it will save more time if they help you do this than if you do it. So time is the clue. Time is the clue, so you don't lose control of the group. But if you lose control of the group somehow or for any reason, just keep calm and remember that I have to keep them busy, or I have to change the activity. So keep calm and keep them busy. If children don't have anything to do, they will find what to do. And the tip here is always have extra activities for fast finishers. So what are the common problems that we have? The time of the activity was too long and children finished before. So maybe I thought that they were going to finish an activity in 10 minutes, but oh no, they finished before. So what am I going to do? I don't have any other activity. So the moment that you're thinking what to do and you organize your ideas, then they are going to find what to do. Maybe they're going to start bothering the one that is next to them, or they're going to start talking or jumping or standing up. So you can lose control of your class with that. So if the activity was, if I thought that the time of the activity was okay, but the children finished before, okay, you just pick up everything and then you take out your next activity or the activity that you have planned for in your plan B. Or you can also have, for example, for fast finishers, another box with a label that says here fast finishers, or with a star or something that children know that they can get some material from that. So for fast, if children finish quickly, you can tell them, oh, go and get something from the magic box, or I don't know, from the star box or the magic box or the fast finishers box, and there you can have like small stories for them to look at. You can have clay. You can have I don't know, beads and needles, so they can do something as a necklace or something with that. I mean, you can have different activities. So they are busy, they are doing something, and they're entertained in a way until the other ones finish. Obviously, don't wait too long to wait for everybody to finish. Okay, just keep your time. Keep your time. The time that you plan. Keep it as much as possible, and try to have activities for the other ones that finished before. Another problem, the time of the activity was too short and nobody finished, and so you need more time. So here, you might start getting nervous because, oh no, they have not finished this activity and I have planned other activities. Okay, so don't worry. You just have to say, okay, I'm just going to move this activity for tomorrow. Maybe you will have to make some adjustments after your class is over to see what are you going to do. Okay, so so just keep calm, because sometimes if you get nervous and you start saying, oh no, so you start hurrying up, maybe you start telling them, oh, hurry up, and they're going to get nervous too. So what happens when they get nervous? They may start standing up. Maybe they're going to stop doing the activity. Maybe they're going to say, oh no, I'm never going to finish this, so they will lose interest in the activity. So don't worry. If nobody finished, or you give them more time, or you just stop the activity. The time of the activity was just right, but for most of the children, but some finished before. Again, have them do something. The activity was too challenging, children lost interest, or the activity was too easy, children finished quickly. So always find things children can do. I didn't plan anything. Don't worry. Ask them to stand up, and maybe you can start singing a song where they can dance. They can, you can review some action verbs. Okay, so, okay, everybody stand up. Put everything away. Stand up. And walking, everybody's walking, and then you start singing, or you play some music, and you play a game. Maybe you say, okay, if I play some music, you are going to walk, no, to the rhythm. If I stop the music, you're going to stop, and then kids get to do something else. You keep them entertained while you are thinking what you're going to do next, okay? But you're not losing the control of your class. So that's why here I wrote, don't forget to have variety. Sometimes we think that having a good classroom management means that our kids are all in their places, under control, in silence, working, but that's not the truth. A good classroom management is children who are doing what you want them to do, that are standing up but in a controlled way, or are sitting down but in a controlled way. What do I mean? Children will learn with their bodies. So if you maintain kids sitting in their chairs all the time, they're going to get tired, they're going to start moving, they are going to lose interest in the activity, and then they can start disturbing the class. So you have to sense your class. So the tip here is just keep your activities in between activities to help them release energy and gain their attention again. For example, if you feel that your children are too restless, they don't longer want to do the activity, they are already too tired. Maybe, for example, this happens when we are teaching vocabulary, we're showing vocabulary. If we want them to learn 10 vocabulary words, it's going to be very tired for them, because we are, okay, what is it? Flower. Repeat. Flower. Okay, fulanito, flower. So, and if you do this 10 times, and then you go backwards. Okay, and for example, what is it? Crayon. Is it a flower? No, it's a crayon. So if you do that with 10 flashcards, oh my God. I mean, they're going to feel very restless. So maybe just do 3 or 5 flashcards, and then the next day you're going to do other 3 or 5. The clue here is sense your class. If they're getting too tired, to activate them again. If they are too active, then you will have to relax them again. Okay? So think of activities in which your children can sing, play, sit down to do some work, then stand up again to dance and release energy. There are moments where they're going to be singing and dancing, then they sit down and work, then they stand up again in between activities and do something, a keeper activity, and then they sit down again. Okay? So that's right, it's total physical response. So an activity that I like to play a lot with my kids called Pinocchio. So it goes like this. Maybe you already know it, but I say, okay, everybody, hands up on your eyes. So children, what they do is that they touch their ears, and then I ask them, oh, are these the eyes? No, where are the eyes? Here, pay attention. Okay, everybody, hands up on your head. Up, mouth. Okay. And this activity is called Pinocchio because I tell my students, if I do it wrong, then you have to tell me, Pinocchio. That means that I'm lying. So they will have to tell me, is this a mouse? No, it's a nose. So you get the attention of them again, because they're going to be listening to what you are saying and not what you are doing. Okay? So these kind of activities, CPR, like Simon says, other activities that maybe you can find in the internet for TPR can be very useful because they help gain attention again. So in between activities, for example, after daily routine, they were sitting down, or maybe they were dancing and that, okay, now sit down. Oh, they were very hyper. Now relax. Okay, let's breathe. Okay, again. Oh, try to touch the ceiling. Wow. So, are you ready? Yes. Let's start again. you can also use your puppet to sing, to do TPR. They will love that. So maintain the flow so they don't get tired and you don't get tired either. And well, the last thing that's super important is to have fun and enjoy. If you plan a class where you are having fun, your children will have fun too. So I really wish you the best, and I hope that these tips were very useful, that you can really get some ideas to apply directly in your classroom, and that that you can improve your teaching techniques. I wish you the best. The best of life is in your hands and are the kids. So thank you. Bye bye.
Hi, Lorena. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So a big thank you to you, and I'm sure Lorena is happy to stay for a few minutes and answer a couple of questions. Before we do that, on behalf of Macmillan Education, I want to thank you all for spending this hour with us. As we saw at the beginning, I think some of you are up very early in the morning or stayed up very late at night to join us, and hundreds of you online. So we really appreciate you taking the time. And as this is the last webinar in a very long series, I just want to thank all of you who've attended 2, 3, or even all of our webinars. Again, a big thank you, and a thank you from me to the team at Macmillan, to Kasia, to Sonali, to Piotr, everyone who helps put these together. I've seen lots of questions about the certificate. Here is your beautiful Advancing Learning Certificate. If you are following us on Click Webinar, we will send that directly to your email, so you don't need to do anything. Unfortunately, if you're on Facebook, we don't have your details, but we'll be launching a new webinar campaign just after the summer. And so for those webinars, just make sure you join us through the Macmillan Education webinar page, and you will get your certificate automatically. And this webinar has been recorded. All of our webinars have been recorded, and you can view those recordings on our YouTube channel. So we're going to take a break for a couple of months, so you can use that time to check up on all of those webinars that you missed. So Lorena, thank you so much. A very lively, interesting session, and I've been following the chat box, and lots of compliments from the teachers and lots of great ideas. Anybody online have a question for Lorena? You can type it in the chat box. Lots of people saying thank you. And of course, as usual, I've forgotten to put my glasses on, so let's see if I can actually read what you put in the chat box. So we've got a few questions there. What's your advice if you've got particularly hyperactive children in the classroom?
Yeah, I think that for them, you have to give them like certain goals, because they're so hyper that you have to give them short activities and certain goals. For example, okay, you're going to do this very short activity and you're going to get to do this. Maybe they're not going to get to do the whole activity as the other students, but you will have to adapt it. So because they're so hyper that maybe they cannot concentrate a lot. So you will have just to adapt the activity for them, and give them certain goals that they can really reach. Because if they start feeling that they are successful, I mean, so for hyper kids, I would say that just adapt your activity so they can really get to the objective, but maybe in a different way, or maybe shorter. Okay, for them, I would say that.
Okay. We have quite a few questions coming through. What about in your classroom, Lorena? What rules do you have in your classroom?
Well, it's always don't push or raise your hand when you want to talk or tell me when you want to go to the bathroom. Just don't leave outside. You cannot go out of the classroom without my permission because some of them like to escape. Be kind. If you do something wrong, we have to say I'm sorry. I mean, certain rules like that of good behavior. Um, what else? When you finish, for example, your work, you have to clean up your table. You have to put all the trash that you use in the waste basket. Very simple rules that children can do that also are like things that they can do or that they can or are learning from home too. Mhm.
Okay. We had a question about hyperactive kids. What about if you've got a very quiet group? If the children are very shy and introverted, any tips?
Well, as I was telling you, sometimes they are shy because they are afraid of talking or because they hear you speaking differently, so they really don't understand and they feel scared. So the tip here is just to use the puppets. Try to make them feel they're at home with activities they might like, maybe some games, maybe ask them to dance with you or something like that. The thing is that when we are working with little kids, first of all, we have to gain their confidence. So if they are too shy, is because they are not yet confident to speak or to act or to dance and that. Maybe just if there are some kids that don't want to do it, maybe the puppet can go and invite them to stand up, or maybe they can stand up holding the puppet, or maybe you can stand up and dance with them. And little by little, you can start including them in with everybody in the group. And little by little, they also start enjoying the class.
Good. That was like me, Lorena. I was a very shy, quiet child. Something went wrong. I
Yeah, or
don't know.
like yeah, like Pao, the little girl that I was telling you at the beginning, she was very shy and she never talked to me until I started using the puppet, for example, no? So that's the first time I got to hear her voice. Because she was like that. She never wanted to speak, she never wanted to dance or to do anything. She was too shy. But really the puppets do magic with the children.
We have a new pre-primary course out at the moment written by Carol Reed called Mimi's Wheel, and the main character there is a meerkat called Mimi, and we've designed a puppet
Puppet.
especially for
That's
teachers
right.
to use, and I think it's a great tool. So, Lorena, I think you've done a brilliant job. We've reached the end of the hour now.